KFAN welcomes some great shows to Grand Casino Arena in the next year. Pentatonics will be there on November 20th. Rascal Flatts on January 23rd. And Eric Church on February 7th. Tickets are on sale now. Get the complete details on all our upcoming shows on the concert page at KFAN.com. Keyword calendar.
Programming notes for closed circuit to stations all along the KFAN radio network and the Common Man radio program network. We're going to go to the bottom of the hour here, and then we'll straddle the 45, and then we'll take it to the top. As we get ready for our first segment of the 1 o'clock hour, we have a name for it. It's called 534.
Time now for 5 questions. Well, actually 3, but 5 sounds like more than 4. Question number 1.
Time now for an in-depth look at the state of hockey.
After shutting out the Ducks 2-0 Saturday night, the Wild finished off a weekend sweep last night against the Vegas Golden Knights. Kirill Kaprizov scored the game-winning goal in overtime as the Wild beat the Golden Knights 3-2 at Grand Casino Arena. Yakov Trenyan and Joel Eriksson scored as well. The Wild have won 4 of their last 5 games, and their 6-1-1 run since the start of November is tied for first in the National Hockey League. Common or the Wild back?
I think you doubted that Wild club and given up on him. No, that was me. No, who was? I think it was Rosen. It's nice, again, Tennessee, you can use this for the next time the Tennessee Fitzgerald set sails.
Okay.
An 82-game season is not a sprint. It's a marathon.
Oh, I like that.
And so now I will admit it was getting a bit dicey. I mean, you drop too many games. You play the longer you can use this as well. The longer you play poorly, the less your chances are of pulling a Van Halen and getting it turned around and making it push toward a playoff spot. But that's nice. It was a shaky start. Sort of the opposite of last year, right? Do I recollect it correctly that we got off to a sizzling start last year, and then we
through like half midway through December, we're second best record in the West, I thought.
And then I think that's when our favorite player here in Minnesota, Kirill
Kaprizov,
suffered an injury. I don't remember if it was lower, mid, or upper body, but he was out for an extended period of time, and that sort of coincided with our shaky.
And Joel Eriksson got hurt.
That's exactly right. And that sort of coincided with our shaky play. But now, it's much better. I'm not paying as close attention to the National Hockey League standings as I once did. Where are we? I know it's early. It's not like the playoffs don't start today, but are we starting to climb the ladder a little bit? I would assume we are.
Well, in terms of points, they are in 9th place. They are tied with Chicago and Vegas. They're in 7th and 8th, but we've played 2 more games.
Okay.
We're in 9th. In terms of points percentage, because the Wild have played more games than most, we would be in 10th place behind the Utah Mammoth. So,
okay.
Still not great, but from where they were, they were like in the 12th, 13th range there for a while. So at least they're give themselves a chance to get back in the mix, but it's going to take a lot more.
Didn't the Gopher men's hockey team win a couple of games too? That's what I thought I saw.
They lost a bad one. We're going to get that. That'll be in the next question.
Oh, we did?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's go.
You done with the Wild?
Yeah, that's all I have to say about it. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Okay.
Question number 2. It's time now for multiple choice.
Which Gophers team had the most discouraging performance this weekend? A, the men's basketball team barely escaping with a win over Wisconsin Green Bay at home after making just 16 of 33 free throws in regulation. B, the men's hockey team losing to Long Island 6-2 Friday night at the Mooch. Or C, the football team's 42-13 loss at Oregon Friday night.
I thought we beat Long Island.
We did Saturday.
Oh, Saturday.
But they lost to them
Deuce is
Friday.
the good luck charm. He went to the Saturday game. That's right.
We salvaged a split, but I didn't know Long Island had a hockey team.
I didn't either. They have a great tee. Not team, but a great tee. Have you ever had a Long Island tee?
I have not, no.
I think if I'm not mistaken, I did not during my drinking days partake, but I think a Long Island iced tea is all alcohol. There's nothing else in it.
Really?
All alcohol. That's for your hardcores. If I'm not mistaken, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I apologize, but it wouldn't be the first time I'm wrong, and it's not that big of a deal if I am. I saw the story I read, I think it might have been Fish Wrap Factory West Side, where Nico Medved actually laughed about all the missed free throws. He's laughing. He's smiling. It was Doug growing it. And yeah, it's against a higher quality. And Wisconsin Green, there was a time Wisconsin Green Bay, I remember it was 10, 12 years ago. I don't remember their coach's name now. It was Dick. What the hell was his name?
Butkus.
Might have been Dick Butkus or Dick Weber. He got Wisconsin Green Bay to the NCAA tournament a couple of times, if I'm not mistaken. I think those days are long gone.
The Dick Bennett?
That's it, Dick Bennett. That's exactly who it was. Is he still there? He must be gone by now. Because you know what? Once they have some success,
Looks like he hasn't coached since 2006.
No,
he's 82 years old.
Yeah, so he's hung him up. He's hung up the Chuck Taylors. Generally, when a coach coaches
he
up,
coached in Wisconsin for a while.
yeah.
Huh?
See, well, that's what happens. You coach up Wisconsin Green Bay, and then they come calling, right? So went to Wisconsin. Anyway, there was a time that was a good club. You need to win that game, but yeah, it's I don't know. I know anytime there's a coaching change and you bring in new recruits and you bring in transfers and you portal this, you portal that, nil this, nil that for as much as we can. We don't do a lot of nil, I guess. You kind of have high hopes, right? And we won the first two cupcake games, and then somebody throttled us. I don't remember who it was, pretty badly. Game 3, and then to barely escape here. So growing pains. Just the Gopher game that, I mean, not even competitive in 3 games against quality Big Ten opposite. Number one team in college football, Ohio State, right? And I get that, but, you know, that's still to be completely outclassed. And that's my guess is the coach's name Jason Day? No, that's the golfer. The Day character for Ohio State. My guess is he called off the Dogs in the Gopher game, right? I mean, once you get up a while, you start running the ball. My guess is if Ohio State had wanted to, they could have doubled up on that score. They could have scored 82 points. I think they scored 40-something. They could have scored 80 if they wanted, I'm sure. The Iowa game was, I watched it. I said it then, I'll say it again. The only silver lining in that gray cloud was I was able to get yard work done because I'd planned to watch the entire game, 2:30 start, take it into darkness. I was going to get behind on my fall cleanup. I was able to get a lot of it done. That was just, that stat will never leave my mind. First 4 possessions the Gophers had 1 yard of offense. 1 yard in 4 possessions. At the same moment in the game, Iowa had 31 points. I mean, it's like, wow. And then against Oregon again, I think we didn't get a tutty, didn't we? Did we get a tutty?
I think we got 2 of them.
Did we get 2 tutties?
We had 13 points. Maybe it was tutty and
I think it was
field goals.
2. I think it was 2 figgies. But we got a tutty.
It was another one of those games that by halftime I stopped watching.
Exactly. And it's, again, I know the coach. There are a lot of Flex supporters out there, and I'm not a non-supporter or a supporter. I verbally slapped him on the back every year at the state fair. He's there with PA. I slap him on the back. I tell him some kind of I try to say something relatively humorous. He just has a blank stare on his face, glazed over look because he's wondering who is this person, and then I just move on with my life. And he's a roll the boat guy, and that's all for a good cause. And his best intentions are there, but there's just, this is what I tried to tell people all along. There's no coach coming in here and going. There's Paul Bear Bryant's not coming in on a, it's just not. And it's like, we talked about it last week when I sent that an innocuous text after we beat Michigan State, and we had to do it in overtime. And I said, I don't think we need to give them an extension. There are all these Gopher fans just ripping me. Yeah, get rid of Fleck. You'll see where this program goes. No one said get rid of him. I said, we just don't need to give him an extension. He's already got like a 7-year deal left. Doesn't he have like 7 years left on his contract? Just let it play out. And if he wants to go, let him go because there's other coaches that can do just what he's doing here. And I know there are people that think that's wrong. You're nuts. But Tracy Claeys and Jerry Kill had the team going in the right direction. Glenn Mason had it going in the right direction. I mean, come on.
Yeah, who are you going to find that's better? Remember we used to hear that was that with Glenn Mason we used to hear that with?
We'd hear it a lot. That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
You can find replacement level.
You can. Look at Indiana, for instance. Just Google them if you don't know who I'm talking about. But, that's, and I know the coach after the Ohio State game and the Iowa game, he said in his post-game comments, he said, I told the kids we're a good football program and we're a good football team. And I guess that all depends upon your definition of good, and it depends upon...
Sure.
I guess they're if you take away the best teams in the Big Ten, actually the Big 18, that would be your Michigans, your Ohio States, your Iowas, and your Oregons. Those are the four best. And in Indiana, those five right there. That leaves you with 13 teams. Of that 13, where are the Gophers? Are they in that? And let's say there's one more in there. So there's 12 teams left. Of that 12, are we in the upper third, middle third, bottom third, maybe upper third? I don't know. I would say it's
middle third. Probably
middle third, or maybe at the top of the middle third, the beginning of the middle of the middle of the beginning of the end. And so that was just and I watched it. It was and I gave up on it too, like you did, but I watched it. It was Friday night. I had nothing else to do. All revved up all dressed up with no place to go. And it was just a bad beatdown. Yeah. Unfortunately.
Question number 3. NFL No Huddle.
The Rams beat the Seahawks 21-19. Common, is LA the best in the NFC?
As we speak, when you take a look at your power rankings, defense wins championships. I love the way Philadelphia is playing defense. The Rams gave Sammy Darnold all kinds of trouble.
Yep.
For the Sam Darnold haters out there, or maybe not even haters, but the people that they looked at that performance against Detroit as, that's such a glaringly bad performance. We want nothing to do with him and need to move on to JJ. That was another performance yesterday. He had some really bad throws. That being said, much like McCarthy yesterday, Seahawks had a chance to win that game late. We had that on the, we were watching that game along with Kansas City versus Denver. Somebody in spread swing actually took Kansas City. But yeah, that's so. But I still like Sammy Darnold. But yeah, the Rams are really. If I'd say it's Rams and Philly right now, but week to week that does change.
You just mentioned it. Will Lutz hit a game-winning field goal as time expired as the Broncos beat the Chiefs 22-19. Common, are the Chiefs donezo?
Well, whoever that was during spread swing, the Chiefs, he said something like, the Chiefs are going to flex their muscles now. They're that team that they don't worry about the regular. I mean, they worry enough that they just want to get into the tournament, even if it's as a wild card. I mean, their history speaks for itself. Haven't they won the NFC or the AFC West like 10 years in a row? And they've been to the big game, 4 of the last 5 years?
They've been like the AFC Championship 7 years in a row.
Yeah, so it's like, it is hard to doubt them. You know how I am, Terry. Unless it's my team that's the dynasty, I'm not much for dynasty, so I don't mind Kansas City struggling and not being what they were, but you still fear them because of Mahomes. I'm doing the idolization and pedestalization that I don't like, but I think there are certain players that rise to that level. There aren't many of them, but they do, and so I just keep expecting Kansas City, but Mahomes had a bad interception in that game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was just that left you scratching your head. You thought it was Goff or Caleb Williams or McCarthy, but I don't know if they're donezo, but it's starting to feel that way. I mean, they need to, as we like to say, Tennessee, I think they almost need to run the table because there's some pretty good records in that AFC.
The Eagles defeated your Detroit Lions 16-9 last night on Sunday Night Football. Common, what happened to your squad?
Got out-coached, outplayed. The quarterback was not very good. He had that offensive line. Goff, you and I have talked about this. And most quarterbacks fit this description. If you give them time to throw, they'll carve you up, and Goff can do that. Goff is really, but he had no time to throw. When he's just so, it's like he's standing on a rickety ladder trying to paint a house, and when he's trying to run or stand in the, you know what I'm saying? When he gets under pressure, you just know it's going to end badly. He's not good at throwing on the run, and the running game wasn't as good. Campbell, we talked about this. Look, I like the Dan Gamble Campbell. Let's go for that. Go for it on fourth down. But in a game like last night, when the reason they went for it on fourth down for the first few years is because their defense wasn't any good. They were having to win games 35-31. So you needed tutties. Last night, you needed field goals. And they eschewed a couple of...
Did the win maybe scare them away from kicking field goals, though?
Well, yeah, but still, when you're... Philly had 3 field goals. They had 3 figgies. 16-9. They had 3 figgies. Detroit had 1 figgy. They missed an extra point because dopey wide receivers were a celebration. And why is this a penalty? I thought... You could do anything you want in a celebration. Did you see where they got penalized 15 yards?
I saw the touchdown. I didn't see a celebration.
He ran
and then I
the
saw they got penalized for it.
He jumped onto the goalpost and hugged it, the padded goalpost, and just fell backwards.
Is that considered like a prop? Is that why?
I guess, but Deuce told me he thought some other diva wide receivers done it before and didn't get penalized on it. Well, and then again, I'm gonna do a classic Vikings fan take. Lions got jobbed by the officials. Did you see the last?
Yes. It was a bad call.
So you'll agree with me there? And Deuce and I didn't complain.
I think the whole world would agree with you.
We just looked at each other and said, that's just what happens sometimes. Because there have been other calls that have gone in the Lions' favor, but that's just not pass interference. And now, the reason it's hard to complain is because the Lions' offense had been so anemic all game, I don't think they would have scored anyway. But they would have got the ball back. The clock had stopped. There was over a minute to go, and the Lions still think had 1 timeout. So there would have been an opportunity to take the ball.
They would have had a chance, yeah.
But with the way they were playing, I don't think they would have done anything anyway. But there you go. That's 5, 3, 4.
And that's it for today's edition of 5 Questions. Well, actually, 3 questions, but 5 sounds like more than 4.
More Vikings talk. Some text messages coming in on the Minnesota Golden Gopher men's football team as well. Maybe get back to some more hockey talk. See if Ten is getting really excited about his Wild Club. And more to get to. We'll take a short break and come back with more after this right here on the Cotton Man program on The Fan.
It's the Black Friday tradition you don't want to miss. The Power Trip Morning Show will be live at Mall of America, bringing the initials game, tons of laughs, and your chance to score serious holiday cash. Be there at the Huntington Bank Rotunda from 7 to 9 a.m. on October 28th. Check out KFAN.com keyword calendar for all the details.
I mean, it's like, hello.
There. Sorry about that. I lost track of time. Time flies when you are having fun. I'm Common. He is Tana B, and we are here until 3, and then we will turn it over to Poise Polish and Professional, Big Ticket, and JG. I've had it with this. I think I don't necessarily block people, but I think I'm about to now.
Well,
I just hate when they make accusations that aren't even true.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think he's He texts all the time, but he's done because now, and I don't know how to unblock people. So you're your own fault, man. Unless you probably don't even really care if you're unblocked, but you text every day to all the shows, but your texts are no longer being received. Like, it feels good too to have that kind of power to just say enough. We don't need.
You used to rip me all the time for blocking.
Yeah, well, when I've told you, when people are either use foul language or they out and out lie, they make up lies, and I don't want to. If you're just chiding people, that's one thing, but when you're really out and out lies or using foul language or making threats, then you're out. I'm sorry, I don't play that game.
I do find it fascinating how behind a keyboard people will say stuff that they would never say in person.
Absolutely, that is correct.
But like if I had someone in person say some of that kind of stuff, then I just wouldn't hang out and spend time with them. So that's the same way I approach my social media.
That's exactly right. And I'm approaching it the same way now. So the head coach spent much of his news conference early on talking about it's that head, shoulders, knees and toes, the eyes and the feet lining up and some of the basics. Don't most quarterbacks, by the time they get to pro football, have the basic mechanics down? I mean, or is there a bigger learning curve than I'm even aware of? You know what I'm saying? Because it sounds like they're still some of just the basic concepts of quarterbacking. You know, his posture. When there was something about, when he stands straight up, he's accurate. Well, then why is he slouching his shoulders and not standing straight up? And then how do you not keep your feet aligned with your... And he must do it occasionally because he brought up, the coach pointed out, and he was, maybe they just need to do like a hurry-up offense the entire game because he was pretty sharp in that last possession. Now, again, the Bears, my guess, are playing a little prevent, right? They're trying not to give up the big throw, but he took them down the field. Yeah, they got the game, the go-ahead tutty.
They didn't prevent it, so
no, exactly. They got the go-ahead tutty, and then of course we know about the punt return or the kickoff return that basically signed, sealed, and delivered it.
I thought we were too aggressive, and it ended up coming to fruition. I thought it was too much time for Caleb. Now it ended up being too much time for their kick return, but they scored too quickly.
Yeah, they
now at that point, the way JJ had been playing, I guess you can't be too picky. You just got to get in the end zone,
right? Yeah, that's exactly right. So I just don't know. You know, I just talked to one of our sales guys who, speaking of chiding me last week. He goes, when the Vikings beat the Lions, he said, "Well, we finally got our starting quarterback back." He was cocky, right? Even though he didn't play particularly well in that Lions game, really, but he was okay, right?
He played all right.
Yeah, he played all right. So I just saw him now, and he knew what was coming. I go, it's a good thing you got your starting quarterback back, huh? And then he goes, well, yeah. He goes, well, it'll get better. And I said, well, we don't know that for sure. And he said, would you give up on him right now? And I said, no, you can't give up on him now. That would be, it is to the point of the season where, remember when all the fans were saying, we're not going to the big game anyway, so we may as well see what we have. Well, that's kind of where they're at now because I get the feeling they're not going to the big game. Unless my feeling's off, I don't know how you feel. And so you do have to.
Well, they have to 6-1 the rest of the way minimum.
Yeah, seems unlikely.
And from what I've seen this season, that seems very unlikely. And one of the teams you needed to chase in your conference was the Bears. You would have had the tiebreaker on them. And now that's another team that you're not going to be able to reach. So they're in massive trouble for this season.
I think you're absolutely right. There was the story leading up to the game. It was the piece in the Fish Wrap Factory West Side, Ben Gessling. Headline, McCarthy, Jefferson at a crossroads as Vikings prepare for the Bears. And we talked a bit about this story because this was kind of like There was that's that story about Jefferson and where he's been, where he's going, where he's at. Remember when he had the quotes earlier in the week when he did something about want to get back to overly loving the game again, other than just loving it, trying to get back to that thrilling days of the season he had when he had the great catch against Buffalo. Matter of fact, he posted on his Insta, I think, that highlight saying that's what he wanted to get back to. And I think it raised some eyebrows from some people. You and I talked about it. I thought it was at least, it would raise eyebrows. I'm not sure it was necessarily, full panic mode. But when your franchise player talks about, I got a lot of things going on in my life. And, you're also getting paid $40 million a year to play football. And you got to find a way to put your life stuff on the back burner while the games are going on. But there were some other quotes from some other principals about the fine line between how long do you just is everything focused on getting the quarterback to improve and how much is trying to win football games. We'll take a look at that on the other side of the break. It's a Common Man program here on The Fan.
Throwing it back in style. Catch them in their 78s as they take on the Carolina Hurricanes this Wednesday. Don't miss the vintage vibes and big-time hockey. Score your tickets today at wild.com/tickets.
Couple 13-14 pass, Common Man program. I'm Common. He's Kennedy. We were talking over the past few weeks about, there was that contingent of the fan base that said, this season is over. We need to play McCarthy to see what we have at quarterback. And then we talked about, well, that's easy for a fan to say, but as an organization that's built to win and built to win right now, and make no mistake, they were coming off a 14-3 or 13-4 season, whatever it was last year. And when you refurbish the interior of the offensive line and defensive line with veteran players and paying them a lot of money, you're trying to win right now. Mm-hmm. And the Vikings felt they could do that with basically a rookie quarterback. Again, he had a year to watch and study, but let's face it, he had never played before. So whether you want to call him a rookie or not, an inexperienced quarterback at best. But I think the organization felt with a really good B-flow defense and a solid running game and a good offensive line to provide protection, you don't need to have. There have been teams that can win games without having a quarterback putting up Pro Bowl numbers. You can do that as long as they don't make a lot of mistakes. He continues to grow, play well, make some key throws when he needs to. You can win that way, and that was, I think, what the Vikings' plan was. Hasn't worked that way, obviously. This is from Kramer's piece, Kramer Gessling from Saturday. It says, the quarterback's studiousness and command of concepts, O'Connell has said, means the Vikings don't worry about how much he can handle, but his classroom time far exceeds his on-field experience. And as McCarthy leads an offense full of veterans who returned from a 14-win team, offensive coordinator Wes Phillips said this week, quote, it wouldn't be fair to the other guys, unquote, if the Vikings simplified their game plan to reflect the quarterback's youth. Exactly what you and I were talking about, where you can't just... We got game. It's not just one kid's career here. There are 52 other players that have signed contracts that are laying it on the line. Guys are in the training room. It's bandwagon. It really is. Phillips says, I don't think we ever go into a game saying, hey, this is about JJ's development in this game. We're trying to set up the best plan for the guys we have, JJ included, but it wouldn't be fair to anyone else on our football team to hold back on anything that we felt we needed to go win a football game. So now you're not just hearing it from me, and I played both sides of the ball. Back in 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, fierce pass rushing, rocket Gibraltar, run-stopping defensive lineman, precise route running, sure, and a pass-catching tight end. But now you're hearing it from a member of the coaching staff, a highly regarded member of the coaching staff, saying, this isn't just about developing one player. with the training wheels on, because he's on training wheels right now. And not only is he on training wheels, but he has somebody holding the handlebars too. Do you remember teaching your kids how to ride a bike?
Still am, yeah.
Exactly. I did it with Deuce. I remember both Deuce and baby brother Peter. You're right alongside of them, and you're holding that handlebar, and finally you just let it go and let them go on their own.
And then they fall. 1 second later.
1 second later. And that's kind of what McCarthy's been doing here for the most part, though he's had his moments. He's gotten down the block and back a couple of times in that first Bears game, and then again in the second Bears game in that very final possession. And he's had his other moments as well. But folks, it just and as a fan, I know you feel you have patience. I've been through this before. I'm going to be around next year. If you're a fan of the Vikings, and let's say you're 30 years old and you're planning to stay in Minnesota, you love football, well, you're probably going to be a fan for the next 30, 40, 50 years. So for you, 1 year to develop a quarterback doesn't mean anything in your grand scheme of fandom. But if I'm Justin Jefferson or I'm Blake Cashman.
Harrison Smith.
Or I'm Harrison Smith.
I mean, he came back for one last year.
Or any of these guys, right? Any of these players, you're thinking, well, no, we love the kid, but it's just pro football, man. We got to move this along. We can't worry every week if your eyes are aligned with your feet. So I think that's probably a part of this as well. It's when you're talking sports, it's complicated, I guess. We'll take a break, come back. Another hour to go. Other side of the break, end of an era here at the Fan. Happened this weekend. We'll dive into that next here on the Common Man program on the Fan.